I think it's time people speak about this more. And I want to make a very quick video because I don't have all the time in the world. Donald Trump, to me, there's just something very uncanny with what he's been doing recently. I used to support Trump. I'll admit it. I am ashamed of it, but I did support him back in like 2024 when he was getting elected because I said it myself, he was better than Kamala as a candidate. And you know what? He still is better than Kamala as a candidate because he actually knew how to run the country. She was just an idiot. Okay, I shouldn't call her an idiot, but she just doesn't know what she's doing. It isn't her thing. She needs to get out of government. She's not qualified. Nor is he really qualified. They both suck. They're both horrible people, but that's besides the point. This is a video about why Trump is not a Christian. And why, if you're part of MAGA, you're probably not a Christian either. You know, the late and great Charlie Kirk, before he was brutally murdered by the state of Israel, famously said, "They are ethnically cleansing Gaza." Charlie Kirk woke up before they murdered him. I don't want to hear that it was Tyler. I truly don't think some kid who supposedly was not a shooter is going to get a shot like that just randomly. Hell no. You know what? I might be wrong on that. I think he might have been a shooter. He might have not been. I'm really not 100% on that. I think I heard he was Hunter or something along those lines. But still, the point is, from what I heard, he wasn't the best at it. And he gets a shot like that? Hell no. And the other thing is, if I remember correctly, I could have sworn the video on the roof, there was an investigation by a YouTuber or something I saw that said there was like AI editing within the video, and there was something about it that just wasn't right. It was edited. I also remember when Charlie Kirk died. I could be bugging, but I swear there was a video going around of what looked like a muzzle flash coming from the alleyway, and that it appeared that Charlie got shot from the alley. And there was a guy who I vividly remember. He was walking out like after they got Charlie, and put him in the car. He was walking out when he had, looked like to be a case for a gun, like across his chest. It was like a black case that had a strap on his on his shoulder, going down his body. Why the hell would you bring that to an event like that? You could say it was a camera, but I'm gonna be honest. It looks weird. It's suspicious in my eyes. Especially from the fact that I'm pretty sure, pretty recently, someone resigned over the fact that the bullet that they found, in Charlie, no, it exited Charlie. The bullet did exit Charlie. The bullet they found on the ground after it went through Charlie's neck, apparently doesn't even match the gun they got. Apparently. I don't know if that's misinformation, but apparently that might be true. How does this correlate to Trump not being a Christian? Because Charlie stopped being a part of MAGA and all that. He literally stopped. There was text saying, "I am leaving the pro-Israel. I am done." There's videos of him condemning us going to war with Iran. He said we shouldn't invade Iran. He literally said it. I think he would have stopped being MAGA, in all due honesty. Trump got rid of him. Not Trump. That's wrong to say, because I have no evidence for that, but I would rather say Israel had enough of him. I think that's better to say. And I think it just goes to show that if you go against what Trump says, or Israel, rather, because that's our true president, nothing good happens to you. And the funny thing is, Trump loves to call himself a Christian, but he continuously supports Israel, a country doing some of the most demonic things on the planet. You know, right before we went to war with Iran, the funny thing is, Iran was burning statues of Baal, the fake god, that what they used to do in Israel was sacrifice babies to him. I'm being so serious. Iran was burning statues of that. Iranians are doing that in Iran. And immediately after, Netanyahu was like, oh, this is a declaration of war in Israel. Who the hell, in what sensible mind do you see people burning a statue of a God that demanded the sacrifice of children, little babies being burnt alive to him, and saying this is a threat to my country? That's the person Trump wants us to support wholeheartedly. Not to mention, this is the real reason why Trump cannot be a Christian. That is definitely a part of it. But think about this. How the hell can you be a Christian if you're in the Epstein files more times than Jesus is in the Bible? How sick and depraved do you have to be in those files that many times? Files that include eating children, rape, etc., etc. Like, that's just the nuggets I'm even allowed to talk about, I think. It's deplorable, disgusting, horrific atrocities in there. It's some of the most grotesque things in human history in those files. And so many of them have been censored because they depict Trump in a negative way. And that's the truth. There was a file that said Trump raped someone. The DOJ released it, and then it got taken down. They put it away. They took it away. Trump is not a Christian. He's not one of us. Actually, he's a Jew. According to, I believe it's somebody from Israel, they called him a Jew. And he didn't announce it. He actually was smiling and was nodding and going along with it. So he's our first Jewish president. By his own account, he's a Jew. The other thing is, in the past few weeks, the Vatican's been criticizing him very heavily. And his reaction to this has been very anti-Christian. He's been insulting the Pope. Essentially, the Pentagon told the top ambassador for the Pope to go there, and they threatened him. They threatened the Pope. Trump is essentially calling himself Jesus with that picture he posted on Twitter. He was talking delusional, talking crazy on Easter. Okay? Trump threatened to destroy an entire civilization. He's off the wall. And the fact that he even threatened the Pope is insane. Even notoriously disgusting people like Hitler, the fact that I even have to say this should give it all away, but Hitler didn't even threaten the Pope. As much as Hitler hated the Pope to the core, and he did persecute Catholics, I should just say Catholics, he persecuted Catholics severely. There was a saint from the Holocaust named Saint Maximilian. He took the place of Jews and died for them. Hitler persecuted my people. The point is, he hated the Pope. But yet he didn't publicly threaten him because he knew he would be destroyed. He had millions of Catholics in his army. He wasn't arresting every Catholic. He was just arresting certain Catholics that want to go along with what he was doing. And even then, it wasn't that many, but he still persecuted a lot of Catholics. And he knew that if he went after the Pope, he probably wouldn't get away with it. If you're this brazen to go after the Pope and threaten him like that, you gotta have some high horse, because you gotta get off of that. Because you're not gonna get away with him. If he harms the Pope, I can promise you, there would be a revolution overnight. There's no way that would happen. No way that wouldn't happen. There would be a horrific revolution. Trump is one of the worst people to represent Christianity. It's honestly like trying to put Muhammad as a good representation of Christianity. It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. The context of both their characters is filthy. Donald Trump is a horrifically bad Christian. No, I can't even say that. He's a horrifically bad person. He's not a Christian. The second you start insulting the Pope, I get if you don't agree with the Pope on everything. I don't even agree with the Pope on everything. I especially didn't agree with Francis on allowing gay people to get married and blessing that. I think I might be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that, but I saw something that he blessed gay marriages, but I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with everything the Pope says, but I'm not going to go insult the Pope because the Pope calls me out. or threaten the Pope's life, like one of the most important people alive, you're gonna go threaten their life and start saying all that crazy crap, calling him a deranged liberal because he won't support you. That's all you have to say about them. That they're deranged. You gotta call the Pope deranged. I'm gonna say the same thing about you. Donald Trump is a deranged, warmongering president. And we need to return back to normalcy. We need America to become a Catholic nation. God bless everyone watching this video. Jesus Christ is the way, light, and the truth. And everyone should submit to the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's all I gotta say to you.